do you
Yeah,
handle with unforeseen challenges?
information and having a positive mind.
You always think about what could happen or what if this happens and it ruins the plan. So you have always a backup plan in
Yeah,
mind. Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah. Like every set I go to, I'm always like hope for the best, hope for the
Yeah.
best,
Yeah.
expect the worst.
How is Nigerian film industry?
Because of Nigerian filmmaking is very diverse, our narrative trend differs.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to Showmakers Show, where we bring creativity to life.
We have Adedeji on the show. Adedeji, welcome to Showmakers Show. Welcome.
Thank you, Katika. Thank you
Nice.
for having me.
Yeah,
Thank you for having me on your Showmaker show.
Yeah, thank you for giving us time, and you said my name really good. Yeah, I'm
Thank you.
happy.
You also said my name pretty good.
Oh yeah, I had to practice this several times, and then I was like, I need to make it right. So I did my homework. So thank you. So we'll start off with how's life? How's everything going on right now?
Well, how's life general or how's life as a filmmaker?
Yes, your works predominantly. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically life as a filmmaker right now,
Yeah.
it's like right now it's a bit hectic because I'm preparing for a TV series, a commission TV series, which is to start by October 7th. And we're in that phase of the production where me and my producer are going back and forth with the schedule and everything to know what works and what will work for the production so that the production can move smoothly. So basically that's life for me as a filmmaker right now. Yeah, so far so good. It's been a good year, basically, but it has
Busy,
had
busy.
as an indie filmmaker, it has had its ups and downs. I mean, it's part of the business, I guess.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Do you still remember how did you start your career in the film industry?
Yeah, I can still remember how I started my career in the film industry. I can say that for me, I didn't start my career in the film industry didn't start like every other person else, like most people in Nigerian film industry, yeah. But there are some similarities to it, yeah, because I, for one, did not set out. I'm not those kind of people that categorize myself as um that I wanted to like from when I was young, I decided to become a filmmaker, that type of thing. It was not until like my second year in university when we had a break. We had a long break, like 6 months break, and I did not know what I would do with myself for that 6 months. So in between that 6 months, I was basically for like the first month, for like the first 2 weeks, I was already bored at home. Then I started asking myself that, I can't just be staying at home for the next 6 months. Like, nah, it's not something I was looking forward to. Then I started research, and I just basically asked myself, what is that thing that I enjoy doing? And that thing I enjoyed doing was basically watch films, research on movies, and everything. And I asked myself, why don't I go into filmmaking? Then I started researching, started asking people around that I knew that were working. Then I asked my elder sister that, oh, do you know any production company do you know any movie production company? And she told me that is working. Like, can I just intern with them for these 6 months? And um, it just happened to be that she knew somebody in the entertainment industry because she was into media herself that had the production that was running at the time. So I was just going there thinking that, oh, mind you, I was not going there to say, oh well, I'll get to work there, get to make some money while I'm at home, and just do just see how films are being made. Basically, that was my goal. Let me just see how films are being made. Then me getting there, firstly, the first shot I got was because was interning there. First shot I got was they told me that they are not going to pay me for my services. Do I still want to come? And I was like, let me do it for like a month and let me see how it will go. Like, and a month became 2 months, 2 months became 3 months, 4 months, then 6 months, then over half a decade later, I'm a filmmaker.
You're privileged enough to work for a production company, and then you
Yeah,
interned with them and you learned everything about filmmaking
yeah,
behind the camera.
yeah.
And
Behind the camera,
yeah,
and that's why I said. That's why I said my starting in filmmaking was not like every other person else because
yeah.
for my first um introduction to filmmaking, I worked on a proper
Mhm.
production in Nigeria. Most people don't have that privilege
Yeah.
the way I did. I know
Yeah.
most people, their first introduction to filmmaking, they were not even part of the production itself. Maybe they followed somebody, they just they're just like let me just I have this auntie, I have this friend somewhere, but let us just go and have a good let me just see what is happening there.
Yeah.
So what, so not. So, some people started by making their own content. I have a friend that his first introduction to filmmaking was just basically YouTube and watching videos on YouTube and trying to shoot his own thing.
So, you've worked in several roles. You've worked as an assistant director, we worked as a director, producer, and now you're a content producer. So, how was the journey of doing each roles?
Well, Johnny, for every role, I have to wear a different hat because it requires different specialties and different set skills. Yeah. Um, content. I started content creation. I started basically becoming a content producer when I got to a space in my. Okay, sorry. Ah, sorry. I always knew talking in front of the camera is not easy, but
Yeah.
I think all the actors that I looked at them funny whenever they did some
I'm an
funny or
actress
something.
as well. I'm an actor.
I don't, I don't, I don't act. I don't. I always tell people that even though I've been on set where people tell me that,
Yeah.
hey, you should become an actor. You tend to
Yeah.
have like good mannerism. Or times where like they need like someone to just an extra. They don't need someone to just do something little on set. Like there was a time I acted as a bartender, and the editor sat me down to look at my footage and said, "You had good mannerism, as in, like you should do that acting." And I'm like, it doesn't seem like my thing. I think
Yeah.
I know you're an actor because I saw your IG page where you're
Really?
in some webs. Yeah, your web series.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. 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 I acted
Where
in
you
one
were.
of Snehal's web series. Like it's in post production right now. But I met her
Oh,
only like really late when she was filming her third or fourth episode. So I met her
oh,
during that time, and she squeezed me into one of her episodes. So I was just like a small role in the last final few episodes. Yeah.
oh,
Yeah, I was
yeah.
privileged enough to act in that. I'm also gonna be acting in her next web series, which I'm really excited about. Yeah, I
Def-
love acting.
definitely,
I love
definitely,
acting.
man. Definitely. If your
Yeah.
friends don't, if your friends don't cast you, who will?
Yeah. Because we got lucky. Yeah, that's what happened.
If you, I always say something about filmmaking. Filmmaking is about collaboration, and who are the best people to collaborate with if not your friends? Like,
Friends, yeah, like having a group, your own group, crew.
yeah,
Yeah,
crew and
it's like.
everything.
So we were talking about several roles that you have done. You've been an assistant director, director, producer, now a content producer. So out of all these, which one do you love the most?
I can say assistant director because it's much more hands-on. Yeah,
Oh
because
yeah.
as an assistant director, you're part of the pre-production, you're
Yeah.
part of production, and you're also part of post-production
Yeah.
at times.
Oh,
So yeah, I always tell people that assistant director, that is it, because there's even a production of, and again, as one of the reasons why I enjoy being an assistant director is, especially as an indie filmmaker, is I am with my crew members.
yeah.
I know what their challenges are. I
Yeah.
know how to work around it. I know how to fix it.
Yeah.
I know how to, I'm in the system.
Yeah.
When you
Hmm.
produce, you tend not to be on set all the time. And from my experience of assistant directing, if sometimes, yes, as a producer, you have to wait on the report of either your PM production manager or the assistant director to know what is happening on set.
Yeah.
But as an assistant director, you are there as the thing is happening live. So you know, and which also helps you know how to fix it
Mhm.
immediately. Because
Yeah.
at times there are some decisions you can't take without the producer knowing.
So you know every single
And some
movement in the set. And
yeah,
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 gives
yeah.
you
And
that.
sometimes
Yeah.
yeah, sometimes as a producer, if you're maybe trying to secure the next set, you're
Mhm.
probably maybe somewhere trying to talk with an actor, trying to work something out, and you're
Mhm.
doing your but the work takes you away from sometimes the work takes you away sometimes from the set.
Yeah.
But as an assistant director, I love it because I'm more hands-on. That's just the truth. That's just the
Yeah.
truth.
Now you're content producer. You know how film sets or other filming sets can be unpredictable. So how do you
Yeah.
handle with unforeseen challenges?
Basically, two ways why how I handle unforeseen circumstances is
Yeah.
information,
Yeah.
information, and having a positive mind.
Mhm.
Those two things, because I always tell people this thing, unforeseen situations will always happen. But if you communicate on time about what is happening,
Yeah.
you will find a solution faster. And the solution does not have to come from you. It could come from somebody else on set.
Mm.
And it just reminded me of the last production which I was on, where um the associate producer had locked in location for like over 2 weeks or 3 weeks before the said we needed the set. Everything had
Yeah.
been sorted out, done, and everything. Just for her to call 2 days before the day we're going, and the people that owned the space were
Mhm.
like, we would need our space on the said day.
Mhm.
And we couldn't necessarily, we have agreed and everything, but it is their business space. We cannot tell them not to do business
Mhm.
there. This happened, we were meant to shoot it on a Monday,
Yeah.
but she had information on Saturday. Also
Yeah.
Saturday, she was trying to work around it.
Mhm.
So Sunday morning, and she just called me on Sunday that Deji, there's an
Mhm.
issue, and this is and this and this and this and this, and I'm like, okay, first thing first, we have to sit down with the schedule, move things around, things that were not meant to be shot on that said day, we would
Yeah.
have to shoot them on that said day with the actors that we have available. And we move things around. And after like some hours of back and forth and everything, we had a full day shoot,
Yeah.
which was better than not shooting at all because we would have lost the entire day.
Mhm.
Basically, I always say something about myself that I'm an organizer with a creative mind,
Mhm.
and there's no such thing as impossible.
Yeah.
They are just setbacks.
You always think about what could happen, or what if this happens and it ruins the plan. So you have always a backup plan in
Yeah,
mind.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Like every set I go to, I always like hope for the best, hope for
Yeah.
the best,
Yeah.
expect the worst. Like
Expecting
hope for
worse.
the
Yeah.
best,
Yeah.
expect the worst. And one thing I always do is communicate with my crew members about the
Mm.
changes that is going about the change.
Mm.
Always communication. Communication is I always tell people this. Communication is very, very key on every
Mm.
set
Yeah.
because you must or everything happening, communicate with your crew members first
Yeah.
about what is happening on ground. Then after you now set out the plan, people can all come together. After communication, then you can now set out the plan.
Wishful thinking of, okay, this is going to happen good, but still
Yeah, 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 yeah,
something. Yeah.
yeah, definitely,
So
definitely.
we're talking about film sets and what could happen in the film set. So how is Nigerian film industry? Like, is the trends are different? Is the style of filmmaking is different?
Because of Nigerian filmmaking is very diverse, our narrative trend differs. The type of narrative trend that is happening in the web series is
Hmm.
different from the one that is happening in the cinema, is
Mhm.
different from the one that is happening on the streaming platforms,
Yeah.
and it's also different from the indie filmmakers also.
Yeah. So it's
The
very,
only
yeah.
yeah, so Nigeria and because of with that also, and again, Nigeria is a country that we have we have different type of we have the Yorubas, we have the Hausas, we have
Yeah.
the Igbos, and those are just the three
Mm.
major ethnic groups in Nigeria. But one thing I can say is for streaming platform
Yeah.
right now, I can say for them there is a trend right now for them because the last like 2 years
Mhm.
we've been on streaming platform. We've had a lot of epic stories on streaming platforms which have gone to do well. We need to do numbers on said streaming platform. We're having more of them now. We had I think 2 years ago we had Jagu Jagu on Prime TV. After Jagu Jagu, we had Anikulaku, the feature film, which
Yeah.
went on to be a series which happened this year. After
Yeah.
that, we had Bolale Ostobita's
Mhm.
House of Gar. Now, later this month, there's another epic story coming to Netflix.
Oh.
Yeah, Lisa B. It's coming. I think it's going to be out by the 27th of this month, next week Sunday or so. Yeah, 27th of September. So yeah, Lisa B is coming out like this month. So that is in the span of like in a year alone, we've had three epic stories
Mhm.
coming to Netflix. And obviously on Prime also we have other epic stories also. Even the producer and director of this thing, Brotherhood, Jadi Oshiberu came out to
Yeah.
say that our own epic story about the Benin Empire is coming out. She didn't put a time frame on it, but she's saying that we should look out
Mhm.
for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, so right now in the streaming platforms,
Yeah. Like, yeah.
we have that trend going on right now.
Oh,
But
yeah.
things like the web series, likes of them, YouTube and the likes, it's way more diverse. It's way
Mm.
more diverse. And again, you also have to consider budget because budget is an important factor, the type of movies you make. Because most of the movies on YouTube by Nigerians are self-funded. The epic narrative that's happening now is not a new thing. We've had epic stories in Nigeria for a very long time. I remember when I was a kid, still in primary school, we had Shango and other epic stories about Nigeria. So yeah, so and the epic narrative in Nigerian filmmaking didn't just start today. While I was a child, there were a lot of epic stories which we watched while growing up. It's just making a it's just making a comeback
Oh.
to the big screen.
Mhm. The old trends are coming
And
back. Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, even in Nollywood, even in Hollywood rather, you can say the same thing. But
Yeah.
right now the old trend of epic stories are coming back,
Mhm.
and you have, like I said, you have everybody, like you have the streaming platform most of the time now. They are churning out a lot of epic stories.
So when we're talking about trends, there are a whole lot of different trends, kind of trends that's going on with different film industries, Hollywood, English, all the film industry. So how do you stay updated on these trends? And does these trends influence your style of content creation?
So how I stay is like I said earlier, I've always been that person that's always been curious about film,
Mhm.
and that my curiosity always know the current trend. I'm always reading articles, always researching, always trying to know ways of shooting better and know what's happening in the current film industry. And one of the ways it has influenced me as a filmmaker is because I'm also an indie filmmaker. I'm always trying to learn how to shoot movies on a budget. That is one way it has influenced my, like, I was of late I was researching on this movie 28 years later, which was shot on a 15 Pro Max, and learning and seeing how I could shoot with my phone. Because I remember during the pandemic, I had an iPhone 7 then. I went around like doing a documentary on people,
Mhm.
on how the pandemic had affected them
Yeah.
financially. I had also try to like observe social distancing, because I knew that in a third world country like Nigeria, social distancing is difficult, especially when you have like a father where he's a breadwinner. He comes back home, and maybe him, his wife, and his four other children stay in a one-bedroom apartment. How do
Yeah.
you social distance in that kind of situation? It's really hard. So yeah, so I always try to find ways and learn ways how to shoot on a budget, especially with gadgets, because it's if as an indie filmmaker, you'd have to know how to shoot with a low budget.
Yeah.
And now there is no excuse for your content not coming out looking good, because you have cheaper options to shoot. Gone are the days where only two professional cameras for shooting movies in Nigeria. Now we have you can shoot on your phone,
Mhm.
can shoot on lower budget cameras, and still churn out and still bring out good content.
Oh, so we were talking about things that you have learned during pandemic and how you are really curious about different trends and different styles of filmmaking. So what is the
Mhm.
most valuable lesson you learned from your career?
Patience. As a filmmaker, patience is very, very important, because that idea that you might have, people might not buy into it immediately. It does not mean that it's a bad idea. A good example is James Cameron had the idea of Avatar before Titanic. He didn't say, "Oh, this idea, I must do it now." No, he knew that at that time they did not have the technology to bring what he was dreaming about into life. He shelved that idea and was patient
Patient,
until
yeah.
technology had caught up with his idea, with his dreams.
Mhm.
Then he made Avatar, which went on to be the highest grossing movie at some point. But if he was not patient and decided to shoot Avatar, it might not turn out as good as it was. And everybody would have said, "Oh, James Cameron made a bad movie." But him making a bad movie was not because of he's a bad filmmaker. It was the tools that he had at that point in time that were not
Yeah.
good enough to bring in his idea
Yeah.
to life. So I was telling you, filmmaker, you have that idea, go pitch it,
Yeah.
you can't, nobody is buying into the idea.
Yeah.
Keep it, keep working on the story,
Oh,
patient,
interesting.
eventually
Mhm.
somebody would buy into the idea, or you yourself would have the resources to bring the ideas to life, so the ideas to life one day.
So we just talked about the lessons that you have learned, and I think we've already talked about it. But still, what do you think is the hardest part of this profession?
The hardest part of this profession is getting into the profession
Oh, yeah.
and upscaling
Mhm.
in this profession. Because in Nigerian industry, yeah, something tends to happen. You might know that at some point one day you want to make a big budget blockbuster movie, but nobody starts from making a big budget blockbuster movie. And people don't really want to give that new guy a chance because at the end of the day, it's easier for you to go with somebody that you people have, you know that this person can deliver.
That's true.
And it's that's just problem of filmmaking. Entering the industry, and because the thing is that most people tend to use the same set of people that they are familiar with. And I have no problem with that. It's, yeah, I have no problem with that, to be honest, because it's easier to work with people that you people already share a bond. You people already know how that person works, this person works, you know everybody's shortcomings, and we all work to make each other better
Yeah.
than bringing in a new guy. First of all, that new guy has to understand how they work in this place. Because one of the things I've also learned in my industry is one production is different. This production, your current production is going to be different from your next production. And it's going to be more different if you now work with people
Yeah.
that you're not used to. That you're not used to. It's earlier this year I worked on a very big production with new set of people that I've never worked with before in my life. The only person I had worked with before was the DOP and the director. And obviously, the director was one that brought me on board because I was like, I want to work with him
Mhm.
to make my life easier
Mhm.
on set. And working with him was easy because both of us and the DOP, both of us had already built a rapport. But as an assistant director, you do know that you also have to work with production. And everybody in production was
Mhm.
new,
Yeah.
was new. And we had those challenges at first. We had those challenges at first, which I know that I will not have on it. And they were not bad filmmakers. So I'm not trying to say they were bad filmmakers. Nobody was, but the only thing that was that we've not just created that synergy yet amongst each other. The synergy did not happen until like 2 weeks until after we're about to end the production, and it was it was lovely from going on from there.